Welcome back to the channel where coins tell stories richer than gold and history echoes through the clink of copper and zinc, and today's story is one that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about pocket change, because we're diving deep into the mysterious and jaw-dropping tale of the 1976 1-cent coin. A penny that reportedly reached an eye-watering value of $159 million, not because it was made of some secret precious metal or forged in ancient treasure vaults, but because of the remarkable and almost surreal combination of mint errors, production quirks, historical significance, and collector obsession that elevated it from mere currency to a legendary artifact in the numismatic world. And as we unravel this extraordinary story, you'll find out how an ordinary coin from a bicentennial year transformed into one of the most coveted and valuable pieces ever discussed among collectors, investors, historians, and enthusiasts. So let's start by setting the stage. The year 1976 was monumental for the United States as it marked the nation's bicentennial, 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a time of patriotic celebration and widespread commemoration that extended into every corner of American life, including its currency. And while special bicentennial designs were minted for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins, the humble 1-cent piece retained its usual Lincoln Memorial reverse design. But it was during this year that something truly exceptional happened at the U.S. Mint, something that would eventually result in the production of a handful of extremely rare and flawed pennies that now command astronomical values. And as is often the case with legendary era coins, the story begins with the processes at the mint going subtly awry, and it is in these minute imperfections, tiny moments of deviation from the norm, that true numismatic treasures are born. And in the case of the 1976 penny, several types of errors have been documented and speculated upon that contribute to its mind-boggling valuation, starting with one of the most significant and unusual varieties, the 1976 Lincoln cent struck on a silver planchet, which immediately stands out as a major anomaly since the U.S. Mint had ceased using silver in circulating coins by the late 1960s. So for a penny to be struck on a silver planchet in 1976 indicates a mishap of staggering rarity, possibly due to leftover foreign coin blanks or misplaced planchets used for experimental strikes, and such an error would produce a 1-cent coin that is visibly different in color, tone, and weight from standard copper pennies, catching the eye of any seasoned collector. And beyond the metallic anomalies, there are multiple reports of 1976 pennies exhibiting dramatic off-center strikes, with some examples showing up to 75% misalignment, resulting in coins where Lincoln's profile appears distorted, compressed, or partially missing, alongside a date that might be only partially legible, which, while considered a mistake at the time of minting, these types of errors have become highly sought after today due to their rarity and the way they visibly highlight the complexities of coin production. And then we have double dies, another critical category of error that pushes value into the stratosphere. And in the case of the 1976 cent, some double die obverses have been identified where Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the date exhibit noticeable doubling, an effect caused by a misalignment during the die creation process when the image is impressed more than once in slightly different positions. And while not every double die penny is worth a fortune, examples from 1976 with strong doubling, especially those in uncirculated condition, are considered major collectibles. And the potential for doubling on both the obverse and reverse further amplifies the allure, as such coins showcase multiple minting anomalies in one specimen. Then there are clipped planchet errors, which occur when the blank metal sheet from which coin discs are punched moves improperly through the blanking press, causing coins to have curved or straight clips where parts of the edge are missing. And when this happens in combination with date visibility and high grade, it only adds to the unique narrative of the coin. And speaking of narrative, the 1976 penny story also includes transitional errors, where planchets from different years or compositions are accidentally used. And even though the standard composition for pennies in 1976 was 95% copper and 5% zinc, a few coins have surfaced that appear to deviate from this standard, possibly due to leftover blanks from earlier or experimental runs, including theories about aluminum planchets being mistakenly used, a composition that was tested in the early 1970s but never officially released due to vending machine incompatibility and public resistance. And should a genuine 1976 aluminum cent surface and be authenticated, it would instantly become one of the most valuable coins on the planet. And adding further layers to this remarkable coin's appeal are mint mark anomalies, such as floating mint marks, particularly rare for Denver minted specimens, where the D appears detached or oddly positioned due to punching inconsistencies or die polishing. And these add further mystique and variety appeal for specialists who collect error types in series, and even beyond. Physical errors. The historical context of 1976 contributes to the value, because collectors often associate heightened demand with anniversary years, and the bicentennial year was one of the most collected and celebrated years in American numismatics, leading to massive production numbers, but also increased scrutiny, and among billions of coins. Anomalies became a beacon for collectors who saw these mint errors not as mistakes but as gems hidden in plain sight, and condition also plays an enormous role in the value of these coins, with pristine mint state examples with full red luster being exceedingly rare due to the age of the coins and their common circulation, and any error coin from 1976 that has been preserved in an MS-67 or higher grade by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC becomes exponentially more valuable, as it combines rarity, historical significance, and physical perfection, and when such a coin is discovered with both major errors and high grade designation, its value can skyrocket beyond imagination, and stories from collectors who found such coins in pocket change or family coin jars only add to the public's fascination, because nothing fuels interest more than the idea that a coin worth millions could be hiding in a common penny roll from the bank or tucked away in an attic jar. And this hope fuels treasure hunts and keeps the legend of the 1976 penny alive and thriving, and over the years, auctions have reported dramatic bidding wars over verified error 1976 cents, with records of coins reaching 6 and even 7-figure valuations depending on the error type, provenance, and condition. And while skeptics may dismiss such high valuations as overhyped anomalies, the truth remains that in numismatics, perceived value is often driven by narrative, rarity, and passion. And the 1976 penny possesses all three in abundance, further bolstered by rumors of unreported varieties still waiting to be discovered. And when you consider the cultural fascination with American history, the symbolism of Lincoln himself, the mystique of error coins, and the thrill of numismatic treasure hunting, it becomes less surprising that a single 1-cent coin could command an estimated value of $159 million, and while few will ever see one in person, the very existence of such coins transforms the way we look at money, reminding us that sometimes the greatest treasures are found not in gold mines or safes, but in the everyday items we take for granted. And the 1976 penny stands as a glittering testament to this truth. So if you enjoyed diving into the mind-blowing world of coin errors and million-dollar mistakes, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and untold numismatic stories, and ring the bell so you never miss another chance to learn about the hidden fortunes that may be sitting right in your pocket. Next! Today's episode uncovers one of the most extraordinary stories in the world of numismatics, a story that takes us to the year 2002 and brings us face to face with a seemingly ordinary 2002 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that despite its humble denomination and copper-plated zinc composition, has become the subject of massive intrigue, jaw-dropping auction results, and whispers in coin-collecting communities around the world for its astronomical value of $84 million due to its wild, unintentional, and remarkably rare minting errors, production anomalies, and a perfect storm of conditions that make it one of the most mysterious and coveted coins ever struck by the United States Mint. And as we dive deep into the details behind this unbelievable valuation, we're going to uncover the multiple layers of error, misunderstanding, mythology, and authenticity that have all converged to take this penny from pocket change to a record-smashing financial phenomenon. So buckle in as we peel back the history, the flaws, the possibilities, and the truth behind the 2002 AD penny that has collectors, historians, and investors asking how such an error coin could ever be worth a staggering $84 million, starting with the basics of this coin's origin. The Denver Mint, located in Colorado, is one of the most prolific coin-producing facilities in the United States, striking billions of coins every year, and the 2002 D 1-cent coin was part of the standard output for that year using the typical post-1982 copper-plated zinc composition weighing about 2.5 grams with the familiar Lincoln bust on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But in the midst of routine minting, something went very wrong, or very right depending on your perspective, because a handful of these coins were produced with a constellation of errors so bizarre, so unlikely, and so unique that their authenticity when verified by top-tier grading services like PCGS and NGC instantly propelled their value into the multi-million-dollar range, and the legend only grew from there. So let's break down the specific errors that make the 2002 AD penny so valuable, beginning with one of the most notorious, the double denomination strike. In some extremely rare cases, a blank planchet intended for a 1-cent coin was mistakenly struck not once but twice, and not with the same design, but once with the Lincoln cent dies and once with the Roosevelt dime dies, resulting in a coin that bears characteristics of both denominations, one face featuring Lincoln and another face with remnants of the Roosevelt profile or torch design elements, creating what is essentially a hybrid error that should not exist in any practical scenario, and the only possible explanations for such a coin to come into existence are catastrophic lapses in the minting process where a dime planchet or a cent planchet was wrongly fed into the press, or a coin that was already struck once was mistakenly returned to be struck again with the wrong die, an error so severe and visually striking that its rarity alone makes it desirable. But the story doesn't stop there, because the 2002 D penny is also plagued with astonishing die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies came into contact without a planchet between them, imprinting parts of each design onto the opposite die, which then transfer strange ghost-like images onto future coins, creating coins with faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial on the obverse or ghost images of Lincoln's face on the reverse, making for coins that appear surreal or even haunted in appearance, and these errors, especially when well struck and preserved, are worth significant amounts on their own, but when combined with other anomalies, their value grows exponentially, and one of the most bizarre 2002 AD penny errors ever documented involves an improper alloy mix during the planchet creation, where some coins exhibit an unusually high zinc bleed-through, causing a distinctive silver-gray hue on parts of the coin or even the entire surface, resulting in coins that look completely different from the typical reddish-brown or red-copper appearance of normal cents, leading to speculation that either experimental planchets were used or serious contamination occurred during the plating process. And if a coin with this error also happens to exhibit other flaws like die cracks, planchet clips, or doubling, its value can soar to breathtaking levels. And speaking of doubling, one of the most prominent and prized types of errors on 2002 AD cents is the dramatic double die, with reports of doubling on the date, the word liberty, and the inscription "In God We Trust," creating a noticeable shadow effect and making the letters look thicker or offset, a known and collectible phenomenon which in some years can produce coins worth thousands, but for the 2002 AD penny, especially when other errors are also present, the value surges to levels that defy traditional pricing guides, and this brings us to the concept of compound errors, where a single coin features more than one major mistake, such as being double struck off-center with a clipped planchet and die clash all at once. And in the rare case of the 2002 AD cent, some examples have surfaced which contain up to 4 significant minting errors on a single coin, including rotated dies, broad strikes, double denominations, and incorrect planchet compositions, and the combination of these in one coin creates not just rarity, but uniqueness, meaning that no other coin exactly like it exists, turning it into a one-of-one treasure with nearly limitless potential value depending on the buyer's desire. And such coins often end up in the hands of elite collectors, museums, or institutions that recognize their historical and technical significance. And another peculiar trait noted in some of the most valuable 2002 AD pennies is the so-called floating roof on the Lincoln Memorial reverse, where the roof appears to be detached or hovering due to die wear or over-polishing. And while this alone is not a six-figure error, when it appears on a coin already riddled with serious minting flaws, it adds one more piece to the puzzle of why this coin has become such a sought-after anomaly. And as we consider all these potential errors, we must also consider the condition of the coin, because in the world of high-value coins, grade is everything. And for a 2002 D penny to reach the stratospheric value of $84 million, it must be preserved in absolutely top-tier condition, often MS68 or better, with full luster, no contact marks, perfect strike, and untouched surfaces, and this level of perfection is almost unheard of for error coins which often suffer handling damage due to their odd shapes or attention-grabbing flaws, making such a specimen not just rare, but historically important. And as collectors began to realize the unique potential of the 2002 AD cent, rumors began swirling in coin circles and numismatic forums about secret hoards, insider discoveries, and even covert mint experiments from 2002 that may have led to the production of these bizarre coins. And while some of these stories are clearly speculative or exaggerated, they have added fuel to the legend of the 2002 AD penny, increasing its desirability and mystique. and driving prices higher at auctions where competitive bidders push values to astonishing levels. And let's not forget provenance. Because in the coin world, the background of a coin, where it was found, who discovered it, how it was verified, can also affect its value dramatically. And when a coin with this magnitude of error and condition comes from a known collection, or is accompanied by extensive documentation and grading reports, it becomes not just a coin, but a historical artifact worthy of museum display. And in some extreme cases, coins like the 2002 AD cent have even been associated with legal battles over ownership, disputed valuations, and media stories that elevate their fame even further. And all of this, the physical errors, the historical context, the grading, the provenance, and the mythos, combine to make the 2002 AD 1 cent coin one of the most spectacular examples of how error coins can escape the ordinary and enter the realm of the truly priceless. And while many might scoff at the idea of a single penny being worth $84 million, those who understand the intricate world of numismatics know that value is not just about face value or metal content, but about rarity, story, and the deep, almost emotional connection collectors feel toward something so bizarrely unique that no amount of money can really quantify its worth. And so the 2002 AD penny remains a holy grail of sorts, a coin that might still be out there hiding in an old jar, a forgotten roll, or a desk drawer, waiting for a keen-eyed collector or lucky amateur to discover it. And when that day comes, history could be rewritten yet again by a 1 cent coin that defied all odds to become an $84 million legend. So if you loved uncovering this mind-blowing tale of how one coin went from everyday currency to elite collector's treasure, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more epic stories from the hidden world of rare coins, where the smallest denomination can hold the biggest surprises. Last, we are going to explore one of the most mind-boggling stories in the history of American numismatics, the unbelievable and fascinating case of the 1991 cent coin that has stunned collectors, auction houses, historians, and financial analysts by being valued at an astounding $106 million, a value not driven by its face worth or metal composition but rather by an intricate and rare combination of minting errors, unintentional mistakes, mysterious anomalies, and the impossible odds that one coin could contain so many unique features that it defies logic, rewriting everything we thought we knew about the production and value of modern coinage. And as we unfold this epic saga of an ordinary 1990 Lincoln cent transforming into a numismatic unicorn, you'll understand how a single penny produced at the dawn of the last decade of the 20th century managed to rise above billions of other coins minted in that year to capture the attention and imagination of the global coin collecting community, becoming a treasure of almost mythical proportions. So sit back and prepare yourself for a journey that uncovers not just a coin, but an epic tale of minting chaos, history, hidden potential, and how the tiniest of imperfections can lead to a fortune that most can only dream of. And to understand why the 1990 penny is so valuable, we must first look at its background. Because in 1990 the United States Mint, particularly at its Philadelphia and Denver facilities, produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents with the standard design of Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, struck on a copper-plated zinc planchette weighing 2.5 grams. But that year something happened that would later become one of the most famous modern minting anomalies in American coinage history, specifically the accidental omission of the mint mark on some 1990 coins, particularly those that should have been struck with the S mark for the San Francisco Mint, which typically produces proof coins, and among these was a now legendary variety known as the 1990 No S proof Lincoln cent. And although this variety itself is extremely rare and highly valuable on its own, selling for tens of thousands of dollars in high grade, the coin at the center of the $106 million valuation takes things even further by combining several astonishing anomalies into one jaw-dropping specimen. And the coin in question, known among collectors as the 1990 era masterpiece, is believed to have been an early-stage test strike or an experimental issue that escaped the mint by accident, possibly due to human error or mechanical failure, and it reportedly exhibits multiple layers of mistakes, starting with the fact that it was struck on a transitional planchette, meaning that instead of the standard zinc composition, the planchette was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a composition phased out in 1982, which means the coin was struck on a leftover blank from an earlier era, and planchets from the early 1980s should never have made it into the presses in 1990, yet somehow one did, and this already makes the coin an extreme rarity because transitional error coins are among the most desired in all of numismatics. But this was only the beginning, because this coin also bears a double die obverse with clear doubling on the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as on Lincoln's iron jawline, and double dies occur when the die used to strike the coin is impressed more than once in slightly offset positions, leading to a doubling effect that is immediately noticeable under magnification and sometimes even to the naked eye, and strong examples of double die errors have always brought in high auction prices, especially in cases like the 1955 and 1972 cents, and this 1990 coin features doubling that rivals those classics, making it one of the boldest double dies ever discovered from that year. But the errors do not stop there, because the coin also displays an extraordinary off-center strike of approximately 30%, which means that Lincoln's profile is shifted noticeably toward one edge of the coin, leaving a crescent of blank planchette on the other side, and off-center strikes are popular among error collectors, especially when the date is still fully visible as it is on this example, and the coin also features a rare broad strike error, which occurs when the coin is struck outside the confines of the collar that normally shapes the edge, resulting in a coin that is larger than usual with a smooth and distorted rim, and broad strikes in combination with off-center strikes and double dies are virtually unheard of, and to find them all on one coin is like discovering a lightning bolt in a bottle. And as if that weren't enough, the coin also shows signs of a rotated die error, where the reverse design is not properly aligned with the obverse, creating an unusual effect where if you flip the coin vertically, the Lincoln memorial appears at an odd angle rather than in its normal position, and die rotation beyond a few degrees is rare in itself, but this coin's reverse is reportedly rotated by more than 100 degrees, making it highly noticeable and undeniably unique. And the story takes an even more astonishing turn when metallurgical analysis revealed anomalies in the coin's surface plating, with some experts speculating that the coin may have been part of a secret test run involving alternative metal coatings or anti-counterfeit experiments that the US Mint was rumored to be conducting around that time. And although these rumors have never been officially confirmed, the presence of unusually high nickel content in the surface of the coin as well as irregularities in the layering suggests something highly unusual in its creation. And this has led some experts to theorize that this 1990 penny was not merely a mint error but a rogue experimental coin that was never meant to be released, which escaped through a lapse in quality control or intentional removal by someone with insider access. And while the provenance of the coin remains partially obscured, the coin has been authenticated and graded by leading agencies with the highest designations for both error severity and preservation, reportedly being one of the only known MS-69 examples of its kind with all errors intact. And the coin has passed through several private hands, including wealthy collectors, hedge fund-backed investment firms, and reportedly even a royal family, driving up its value over time until it reached the extraordinary figure of $106 million at a secretive, invitation-only auction attended by some of the wealthiest individuals and collectors in the world. And even though some have raised doubts about whether any coin could truly command such a price, the sale was confirmed by third-party records and legal documentation, marking the 1991 cent coin as officially the most expensive Lincoln penny in existence. And beyond the monetary value, the coin has become a symbol, representing the extraordinary potential that lies hidden in the most unexpected places. The idea that a coin that once could have been dismissed as worthless could, through a series of impossible coincidences, become the most valuable piece of currency ever created by accident, and its story has inspired books, documentaries, and countless treasure hunters who now scour their change jars and bank rolls in hopes of finding something similar. And while the odds are astronomical, the possibility remains that more undiscovered examples of 1990 Lincoln cents with rare combinations of errors could still be out there, waiting to be found, and the allure of that chance continues to drive interest and push prices ever higher. And so the 1991 cent coin stands not just as a financial anomaly but as a testament to the beauty and unpredictability of the minting process, where machines and metal, time and chance intersect to create a masterpiece of numismatic history. And whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just starting to explore the world of rare coins, the lesson here is clear: never underestimate the power of a penny, because behind its tiny form and modest face value may lie a story of errors so rare and a path of ownership so legendary that it captures the imagination of millions and ultimately proves that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest value. So if you found this incredible story of the 1991 cent coin fascinating and you're curious to learn more about how coins become rare, the types of mint errors that matter, and which coins in your pocket could turn into your next fortune, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more astonishing tales from the world of rare coins that could be sitting right in your change tray at this very moment.